Baraka, Yahweh, Alam, Hallelujah, Shalom, planet Earth. Um, Today we're gonna talk about tithes, the tithe lie, and it's so much of a stronghold that when you tell people that they've been pimped out of their money or they shouldn't pay tithes, that they will turn on you because of the information that their pastor told them. So, I could go deep on this, but you really ain't gotta go deep. Instead of making an hour video about tithes, I'm gonna make a short little video reading the scriptures that explain what tithes is and what it's all about. And it's crazy because I was the same way, believing the same lies that was told to me about tithes, that we had to give 10% of our income to the pastor, that's what the Most High wanted, that was so-called given to the Most High, but given to the Most High storehouse. Until I did one simple thing, picked up the Bible and read it for myself. I asked the Most High for understanding. At first, a lot of these stuff I didn't understand. It sounded strange to me. It sounded scary. But I continued to pray and ask the Most High to give me understanding. And I continued to read and seek. And as the Most High said, if you seek me, you shall find me. Then we're going to start this Deuteronomy chapter 13. We're going to start in verse 22. It says, and you shall surely tithe all your increases of your seed. You see that? We're going to go strictly what the words say, not what the pastor say, not what you've been taught. We're going to let the Most High speak for himself and tell you exactly what he wants you to do with what and when. So notice he says seeds. Your seeds, that's anything you plant with. And he said that which is brought forth in the field, see that field? So we're talking about what comes forth in the field year by year. It goes on to say, and you shall eat. See, I highlight that you should eat because we're dealing with food, not money. And we're going to get into that money part what they love to talk about back then it was food, but now it's money that's allowed. So he goes on to say, before Yahweh your Elohim in the place which he should choose to cause his name to dwell, thy tent. Now to explain that, uh, every year by year, the most I got feast days that the Christianity church don't keep. And during those feast days was when we were supposed to bring our tithe to the place where he placed his name. And where did he place his name? Jerusalem. And you can read about this where people used to make their pilgrims uh, every year around the feast days. Everybody that believed in the Most High, all the lost tribes around, used to travel to Jerusalem. And there they would bring their tithes. And they would eat their tithes in front of the Most High and rejoice. So the tithes was actually for themselves. But let's let the Most High continue to speak. He said, for you should bring to the Elohim the place that he chose to dwell his name, which is Jerusalem. Uh, it says the tithes. Now, what are the tithes? It's about to tell you. Grain of your wine, of your oil, because you have olive plants that produce oil, of the firstling of your herbs, and of your flocks, that would be your animals. So we got wine, grain, oil, and we got flocks and herds. No money involved. It goes on to say that you may learn to fear the Most High always. So it tells you why we doing this. We doing this that we may learn to fear the Most High. And that's how you know these people don't fear the Most High. Because they don't do none of these things. or even apply themselves to do a lot of these things. Now we up under the new covenant, so and we know that Jerusalem don't have a temple that we can go through and sacrifice. And we know the Most High said that when it comes to serving Him, those that serve Him in spirit and truth, that there's not no specific place to go worship Him now. But that's a whole nother video to get into. But it goes on to say, and if the way be too long for you, so that you are not able to carry it, because the way or the place be too long for you. So if you far away from Jerusalem, and it's too long for you to carry all this stuff, which Yahweh, your Elohim, should set His name there, when Yahweh, your Elohim, should bless you. So when He bless you and He give you all these stuff, and the feast days come around, and it's too far for you to travel there, look what He says to do. He says, then you should turn it into money. Oh, so they had money back then. Yeah, they had money back then. It wasn't just animal. And they did not tithe the fruits of the land and the animals because they didn't have money. They had money back then. So that, counts out that lie. And it says, and bound up the money in your hand. And you should go to the place which Yahweh, your Elohim, choose for you. Shall choose, which is Jerusalem, which was the place that everybody went during the feast days, and they brought their tithes there to the Most High, before the Most High, because that was considered the Most High dwelling place in the temple. And you shall be sold the money for whatever your soul desire. So you should bestow the money, or in other words, you should trade the money in for whatever your soul's desire, for ox, for sheep, for wine, for strong drink. So when you get to Jerusalem with the money, you don't supposed to bring the money before the Most High. No, because you can't eat money. So it says when you get there, trade in the money and buy whatever your soul desire. If it's an ox, if it's sheep, if it's wine, if it's strong drink. It goes on to say, for whatever your soul asks for, and you shall, once again, eat. Tithes is not about money, it's about food. And you should eat before Yahweh your Elohim, and you should rejoice. Who should rejoice and eat? You and your household. So this was something that you and your household was supposed to do. So you were supposed to eat your own tithes. You weren't supposed to give your tithes to nobody else. Coming straight from the scripture. And just read the scripture and show this to your pastors. And see what he say. What do he got to say? And a lot of people don't know the Bible, they don't read the Bible, and they just listen what the pastors say without saying, show me that in the Bible. And they be hoodwinked. But it wasn't just for you and your household. Check this out. In the Levites. Now your pastor is not a Levite. This lie that your pastor is a priest or a Levite is a lie. The Most High chose the Levitican priesthood to come through a Levi. That's a bloodline. Most of these pastors don't even claim to be Israel, especially the black pastors. They don't even teach that we are the children of Israel. So they definitely not saying that they Levi. So these tithes for Levi. Why? It's going to explain why. And the Levites that are in your gates, you should not forsake him, for he has no portion nor inheritance with you. Because the Levi didn't have no land, so they could not grow food. Their job was just to be the priesthood, to be the priest. So because they didn't have no land or inheritance, it was our job to take care of them, basically to feed them. And it goes on to say, and at the end of 3 years, So notice this. Now we talking about the second tithes. Now this is the first tithe. Now this is the second tithe. And at the end of 3 years. So it's not every time you get paid you give 10%. It was at the end of every 3 years. Even the same year, you should bring forth the tithes of your increase, and you should lay it up within the gates. Now this gates is the storehouse. Why should you lay it up in the gate? In the Levi, because he have no portion with you. And who else? And the strangers. Who else? And the fatherless. Who else? And the widows that are within that gates shall come and do what? Shall eat and be satisfied. And what that happens says that the Most High Elohim will bless all the work of your hand which you do, because you taking care of the poor, the stranger, the fatherless, the widows, and the Levites that ain't got no portion, no land. Because you taking care of these people, the Most High will bless you. That's how you get a blessing. So when it comes to when they used to always read that scripture, with a man rob God, they talk about the Most High said, if you will store up in my storehouse food. See, a lot of people don't read that scripture. And he said, then I'll pour out a blessing. So basically, the Most High saying, if you take care of the strangers and the fatherless and the widows and the poor, and make sure the Levi got something to eat, those who are unfortunate, then I will bless you. Then I will pour out a blessing from heaven. So this is just, simple reading the Bible and understanding what the Most High want for us, what tithes is. Or I heard a pastor say, well, you can't pay bills with fruits and vegetables and animals. It wasn't meant for you to pay bills with in the first place. The tithes was only meant for the first tithe was meant for you can rejoice, you and your household, and the Levi, before the Most High during the feast days. You brought all your blessings and you rejoice in front of the Most High. 10% of all that He blessed you with. The second was every 3 years you store up all your 10% in the gates, that those that was not fortunate will be able to eat. This is biblical tithes. Till next time, Shalom.